What is going on, good people? Welcome back to Knuckles Family. What is it, Knuckles Family? Knuckles Me Fiends presents Nani a podcast. Nani episode. I messed up my intros today. We're just anime they're currently watching. Today we're gonna be talking about both episodes of Lazarus, episode 6 and 7. And honestly, six we're gonna like skim right through it because episode 6 was definitely a big character development for our character Alina, which I thought we saw some character development like towards the second half of episode 5. So basically, um, there was got a magazine about Skinner, from 15 years ago. He just goes to the place. He used to go to the this I would say like excluded place right now that represent a god named Naga. This AI god, right? It's a place where Elena's from. And in that place, it's just no technology, disconnect from the outside world because it's full of sinners. And Naga, lives in a Naga all the time, right? So they had Elena and Layla, investigate right there. That was a good song they were playing. Elena is just going back, undercover, say, "Oh yeah, I'm back, yeah, this and the third and shit." And basically, everybody was happy to see Elena back, right? Say, we told you the asteroid was nothing but full of sinners right there and everything. So, like I said, no technology, no nothing. Obviously, um, Chris, Doug, and Axel are like, peeking in from afar this and make sure everything's okay. And if Leyland, throws this smoke dynamite, it's their cue to get in there, right? So, like I said, I'm gonna make this movie. Like I said, episode 6 is like a million more development for Elena is that at night when they were trying to like sneak in to find more information on Skinner and on this Naga, they got kidnapped. Not kidnapped, but like they were found out because the one girl, um, Elena's ex friend, ratted them out, right? So when they're in prison, they said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna burn you guys alive." So the one girl was like, "Elena, why did you leave? I was just to get to experience the outside world right there." And and it's like, are we gonna listen to these people that tell you what to do? There's more than left than just being at this secluded secluded location, right? So basically, her friend does save Elena and Elena and Leyland and Elena from being burned because they're gonna burn them, then they're gonna sacrifice themselves for the whole Lord of Naga and all that type of bullshit right there. Naga is a piece of shit. We'll just say that, right? And like I said, Naga is an AI that love to control humans' emotions right there. I'm a god, so why not play with the emotions right there? Sorry, y'all, allergies. But yeah, basically, episode 6 is just basically, Elena growing because, she used to be in a secluded area, right? Nothing from the outside world or anything. But now here she is, a master hacker. You see that she's not dressed like, the people from her village or anything like that, right? So the fact that Elena, have friends, like, actually to see Elena talk more. Remember, she used to be all nervous and I want to talk to her, that she'd be very, very shy, right? Hey, at the end of the episode, hey, hey, Chris, can I sit with you, please? It's just so that Elena has grown up right there. Like I said, she's been having the best character development so far because honestly, she's the one that had the most connection out of all the characters so far. So happy for her, and I'm sure we'll get that later on with the other characters as well. And obviously, they're trying to get the code from the Naga's memory banks, right? So episode 7, they get a code right there. It's actually coordinates, 4 different coordinates, right? That used to be islands. Skinner actually remember, and Skinner also said in 3 years from now, the North Pole will be melted, and now people are calling it a prophet. 3 years later, that actually happened, right? So and they found the coordinates for this. By the way, the Naga's basically like a brand of Skinner, right? So yeah, so now the coordinates have 4 different locations, right? So Chris, Axel, Doug, and Layla, go outside on their adventure and feel like what these coordinates mean and what these things can lead us to Skinner, right? And actually, when they were getting themselves ready, what I really liked was that fact that Elena was just walking happily everything, getting her snacks and everything right there. I'm like, well, dang, like I said, good character development for Elena. It just makes me smile to see Elena, just being happy, maybe around the team, right? And Now, although episode 7, not a whole lot happened. Actually, no, I forgot to talk about the beginning of the episode. What I really liked was, them bonding a little bit through their little cookout thing. When when everyone was like, telling their age and whatnot, Leyland 16. No, Chris thought that Axel was like older, and then basically Chris, no, Axel and Doug. I'm confused everyone's name right now. Axel and Doug are the same age. They're 23. And Leia was like, "Well, how old are you, Chris?" 26. By the way, guys, never ask a woman her age. Even if she actually guessed, don't do it. Right? Don't do it. And she said 26. Chris was like, "I'm not saying anything." And Leia's like, "I'm 16. 16." And he's like, "Hey, be more annoyed." And Doug was offended when Chris said that. Chris said that I thought you were 40. Doug kept on saying 40. 40. Like, I like that. And then, the food was like it would be on the grill, but acting like a granddad was using this flamethrower right there. Pretty much burned all the food. Everyone's expression was just like great. And by the way, the presentation looks very, very pretty this episode right there. Honestly, I think episode 7 had like the best beautiful show episode so far throughout the series, right? Because basically I want to talk about that quick intro right there. When they're out on the ocean, the ocean was very beautiful. The skies was beautiful right there, and everybody's like, "Wow, it's so beautiful." Yeah, the most beautiful place are a place where humans don't run them anymore. Also, I also remember, like I said before, the coordinates used to be islands. Skinner bought these islands, for the people that actually, find a new way of living, to find like a new location and everything right there, right? So yeah, they used to be islands, but now here they are, just oceans, and everybody's like, "Dang, this is actually really beautiful," right? And also, Layla said, so we find Skinner, manage to everybody. What's gonna happen to Lazarus? Do we disband it? It's like, yeah, clearly, Layla's liking spending time with the crew right there, which we saw that come like they're actually gonna develop a bond, even though they don't really know each other. They are developing a bond right there, right? And I'm sure Layla thought the same thing. She wants to stay with him, and she was smiling. And Doug and Axel didn't say it, but I feel as though they kind of like spend time with her too, right? But back to the ocean view, right? They just saw areas look so beautiful, right? And Chris, she's like, I forgot how beautiful the world is, how beautiful the sky is. Maybe Skinner was on something. Maybe this is the world that Skinner would want us to leave right there. And she even said, the six trumpets have already sounded, and she was crying, and she was like, "Dang, are what we doing this bad? Are we doing the right thing right now?" And it makes you think right there. It's like, dang, you know, I don't want to do like it's like. And throughout this episode, Chris was nowhere to be seen in the in the video chat. She was just gone from existence pretty much right there. We only saw Leyland, Doug, and Axel throughout the voice chats. But another interesting part about this episode was when the one guy in the boat was talking to Axel saying, yeah, so many, there's a mark on the guy's face." It's like, and Axel, "Damn, that must have hurt." It's like, "Nah, I can't feel the pain right there." It was something that he had right there. But he also told him that, "Yo, I met Scary when I was a young age. He actually bought our eye right there. We now have a better way to learn right there. We can't thank Skinner enough right there." And I think the stuff that the guy had where him and his people can't feel pain. I'm pretty sure that was what Hopno was like, based off of, because actually said that the guy, I bet you probably use Hopno. And the guy's like, no reason for me to use it. Like, no reason for me to use Hopno right there. Like, don't feel the pain. So it's like, why would I use it, right? So everyone's wondering, okay, well, let's look it up. Like, what did Skip do with all this money? Like, what I'm saying, like, how did all that happen, right? And so Elaine's looking into it. As that's going on, we see her talking to her director right there, and things are pretty revealing right there. She's just asking why did Skinner leave me right there, and not only that, the guy said the intelligence army is looking for Axel, and like I said, we don't know much about Axel. It's like, yo, I keep wondering, why does Axel have all these dang abilities right there? Like, but like you can't. Grant, maybe it's just over here that has these abilities, but it's like, but you need to have something, right? But Hirsch said that Axel's the key to everything right there. So it's like, okay, so clearly it's more than just Axel's like skills that like it's the reason as to why she wanted Axel on the team, right? So as Alea searching for information right there, she found like, a research team that, that Skinner is with at an institution, right? And as it turns out that Hirsch was on that team right there, and Elena was surprised, but we knew that Hirsch had some connection with Skinner because remember back in episode 3 when it was in episode 4 when they had like the coordinates, the Hopner or some shit like that, the something regarding Hopner, right? And Hirsch knew what it was, and Doug was like, "How do you know about that?" You know what I'm saying? So like so it was a surprise to us at least, right? So as that happens, we see Chris walk in. She sees somebody that she knows, which by the way, we saw this girl in the middle of the episode. You know, and Chris tries to quickly walk away, but the girl lady was like, "Alexandra, is that you?" Not Chris, Alex. Now, Chris did say, believe it or not, I was a spy. The way how she was saying it was like in a joking manner, right? Well, that could potentially be true. I mean, she knows how to use a gun. She knows how to use a weapon. So it's like, great. It's not to say that just because you know how to use a weapon, you're a spy. But it's like, her jokingly saying that how the one girl called her by a different name. It's like, oh, okay. So, like I said, like I said, Elena had her character development. Chris is probably next, and hopefully we get Doug and Leyland and Axel before this anime is over, which I'm sure we will. But yeah, man, even though like a whole lot that happened action wise in this episode, like a lot was revealed. Honestly, like I said, the fact that Chris like was called by a different name. Um, Herb was part of Skinner's research team, and then the world is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And then also the intelligence are we looking for Axel, right? And Axel being the key to everything right there. So like stuff was revealed right there. So even though a lot of nothing happened in this episode, I still feel it was a good episode. Just not in the action format that people wanted right there. So, but maybe episode 8 was it 8 9 10 11 12 we have 5 episodes left, so hopefully we get some of that right there. But I do like how this anime can relate to the real world so much, but I will do an episode season 1 discussion about that, so don't need to wait for that right there. So yeah folks, good episode, just not the episode I feel wanted, but these I enjoyed it. That whole lot nothing happened, but like I just love the scenery. I loved how things are getting interesting now. So and like I said, the early episodes, they're leading to dead ends. Now we're actually getting somewhere. And like even her said, I think Skinner wants us to find him right there. We just gotta go through these clues right there. So we just gotta see what happens right there. As always, folks, subscribe to my Knuckles family. Like the video. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. Be sure to follow my social media accounts as well. And always remember what J. Cole said, everybody. There is no such thing as a life better than yours. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.